WU7N. WU7N, testing. Audio quality checks okay. WU7N, disconnected.
WW7ATS monitoring.
Good evening, Dave. WU7N, James here. What's up?
Enjoying the evening. I noticed we haven't got a notification yet on the email.
Wade is doing something with the transmitter right now. Maybe I'll text him and ask him if he wants to use the last link that we used, or maybe he could do something. I need to get a Jitsi account if this is going to become normal, so let me give him a text.
Sounds great. KD7ZYM.
PQ. Gotta remember, you gotta push the microphone button for a full second. Someone transmitted there, but all I got was a cue.
Well, if you had paused long enough to let me actually get my call in, it might work better. Yeah, this is Bob, K9PQ. Yeah, I talked with Wade earlier today, and he wanted to do the switching of the Grand Stream tonight, the Grand Stream feed. So it looks like he's about to open up a Jitsi meeting. I just saw his text. So back to you guys, K9PQ.
Thank you very much to both of you. Thank you, Bob.
K9PQ, KD7QKU. I think he answered me. How come we're... Oh, somebody just sent the message. Okay, thank you. KD7QKU, clear.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't pause long enough. Yeah, that was me getting back to you. Okay, we'll catch you on the net. K9PQ.
Good evening, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. The crossband repeater spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage. There you'll see the exact frequencies that we transmit on and receive. Also a little background on the club itself on that page. Also there you'll find a link that will take you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a note, a tone of 103.5 for this net, a tone of 103.5 for this net. Again, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make contact before the net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Hearing none, again, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. So far checked in by video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Bob, K9PQ, Wade, W7ITL, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. Is anybody else wishing to join the net? Hearing none, we'll start the net for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society with Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, well, good evening, Dave, and good evening to the group. I hear a back feed through somebody's computer. KD7QKU here in Tacoma. Let's see. Well, I had so far kind of an eventful week. I went to the dentist and had my teeth cleaned, and they say that my eye tooth right here had a root canal in it at one time, and they'd taken x-rays Monday, and he said that he's afraid the tooth is going to get rotten or break or something anyway. he wants to do a crown on it or cover it or something. I don't know what he wants to do. So anyway, I go in on Friday, and they're going to start doing that. He didn't want it to break off or disintegrate or whatever he's afraid it's going to do. So I go in on, like I say, Friday, and they'll start doing that. And then the guy who did the backflow testing showed up yesterday and tested the backflow valve, and it tested perfectly fine. So I was happy about that. It only taken him a couple minutes to do that. But then he was going to help me. There's solenoids in the yard. There's 4. There's one for every zone, watering zone, and the panel turns them on and off. But we don't know where they are. I know where one of them is in the backyard, but I don't know where the 3 of them, where their existence is in the front yard. Seems like when we first moved here, I remember seeing a lid on a green box someplace in the middle of the front yard, but I don't know where it was. I thought it was, I knew where it was, but we can't seem to find it. So if they ever go bad, we need to replace them. If you don't know where they are, it creates a real problem. So anyway, he brought this electronic instrument. Let me let it drop. It looked like a pretty expensive deal. He hooked it up to the wire, and then he had like a metal detector, and he tried to trace the wire for the number 1 zone, which is the front yard, to the valve, and he couldn't seem to do it. He spent 2 hours. I don't know if it was because he borrowed the machine. I don't know if it was because he didn't understand how to operate it or what, but I knew where the one was in the backyard. He wanted to see it. He wanted to see what color the wire was. So while we were looking at it, he said, you know, if you turn it, it'll turn the sprinklers on. So he turned it, and it turned the sprinklers on, and then he wanted to shut them off, and he turned it to the off position, and the sprinklers wouldn't stop. So then we had to shut off the water supply to the sprinkling system. And then, like I say, he never did. After 2 or 3 hours, he dug 2 or 3 holes in the grass and everything else, and he had a probe. He kept poking in the ground and could never find it. He thought he found the wires, but he couldn't find where they ended, if that's possible. So got me. Well, anyway, he finally gave up and went home. Armando came over this morning and replaced the solenoid that decided not to work, so everything's back to normal. So that was my last couple of days. So back to the net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Bottle Bob, K9PQ.
Hey, well, I've had kind of an eventful week. My brother came in from Southern Oregon, and he was here for a memorial service for my cousin's ex-husband, and they were really close. It wasn't any situation where there was bad blood or anything. So it was a really, really nice gathering, family gathering, and a lot of great stories about him, and just a very, very nice time. Also met with some other family while Keith was in town. On Sunday we took a ferry across to Kingston and then drove down to Bremerton to visit my niece and her husband. So it was just good to get out and see the different relatives, and good to have Keith here. We had a good visit, and that's kind of my big news, at least to get started. I'll send it back, K9PQ.
PQ, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Wade, W7ATS. Wade, what say you?
Today I'm using my Grand Stream, so looks pretty good. I got the video all tuned in. Made a purchase today to get me started in digital ATV. I went ahead and I bought a a transceiver. It's an SDR. It's called a Libra SDR. It's actually a clone through FPGA of the Pluto SDR, and it supports many different modes. And the thought is I'm going to be able to do DVB-T, the standard that we're looking at as a club to go to. So I'm excited to get that moving. Ordered on AliExpress, so it could be 2 to 3 weeks before I see it. But I'm going to do some experiments once I get it. And I also reached out to Andrew, I think that's his name, over at the Boulder, Colorado Club. Jim Andrews. And asked him if he could reach back to me. I had some questions about some implementation of digital TV and see if he had any resources in his club that maybe could help us get to the digital future. So that's kind of that for my first round. Maybe in the second round I can show some pictures of this SDR that I bought. So also I've got a quote for a 70 watt. It does 70, I think 40 and 20 and 10 watt PA. So I'm going to put that in line with the SDR that I bought, and hopefully I can get up to the repeater site with that new setup. So when I get all that gear in the house, hopefully some of the folks here on the call can work with me and produce some tests. So it's exciting. I'll turn it back to Dave. This is Whiskey 7, India Tango Lima.
WW7ATS, thanks for that. And it sounds like progress is being made towards digital communications on video. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, Ron, backflow testing. I wonder about that. Is that a high failure rate item? How many failures do they find? Is that something that really needs to be tested as frequently as they're suggesting? I can understand that maybe during initial installation, but like I said, how many of them actually fail? And if they fail, maybe they should come up with some other design, something that really works reliably. I don't know. That's my thought on that. Ron, root canals. Yeah, funny you mention that. I went to the dentist sometime this past year, and I had this one tooth that they were saying is pretty messed up, and they're saying, wow, okay, I don't complain about teeth unless they're bothering me. So the dentist and the assistant are going, wow, we can't believe that's not bothering you. And then they did this x-ray and found that this tooth had a root canal. So, oh, no wonder it's not bothering him. Well, okay, so you're not the only one in that position. But I hate dentists. Anyway, Bob, brother in from Southern Oregon. Sounds like you had a very pleasant family gathering. That's great. For everyone to get together. My family's kind of scattered all around, or actually, more precisely, I'm the one who's scattered all around. I don't know, I'm the oddball. I kind of moved away from everyone. And of course it was a consequence of my employment, but that's usually the case, I would guess. Anyway, here I am. Wade, that sounds interesting. I'm not familiar with that Libra, nor am I familiar with the Pluto SDR, but that sounds interesting. You'll have to maybe prepare a little something and email it to the group just when you get a chance. And also about that 70 watt amplifier. Let's see. So yeah, sounds like you're stepping ahead with the digital television anyway. That's good. Thanks for doing that. Let's see. Oh, I gotta thank you once again, Bob, and I presume Ron, for the update information on Dick. I received another email that I looked at since our last net. So thanks for that progress. It sounds like he's improving. That's a good sign. We'll hope to have Dick back shortly. Although it sounds like it's going to be at least another month, I would guess. Anyway, we'll keep praying and keep our fingers crossed. Back to you, Dave, in 7QO.
Thanks for that. And it's time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. I'll pause in case anybody wishes to join our net this evening. Hearing none, again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Let's go to James, WW7N in Bellevue.
This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Well, I'm on a different computer tonight. It's I notice it's 15 years ahead of the other one that I normally use, probably 20 years ahead of the other one I normally use. And I notice it seems to handle the digital side a lot better, although I don't know if it's the particular camera or whatever, but I seem to have fuzziness around my head and blurriness around my arms. I'm sort of like in the afterlife or something here. I've kind of got a ghosty thing on my image here, but I noticed that on the 1.2 gigahertz, it doesn't seem to show up. Person can tell me, do I look like a ghost in the with an aura around me, or not? Well, Ron, I'm sorry to hear you're having dental problems. It sounds to me though like as much effort as the guy was putting into the backflow, maybe he should work on your tooth, and you should invite your dentist out to work on the backflow stuff. Maybe there's just a suitability issue there. I wish you the best of luck in both things. As I said, the 1.2 gigahertz picture is absolutely superb tonight. Couldn't get any better. So that's good. I'm glad that the family meeting went well. That's excellent news. And it's always painful to see someone leave, but it seems to be what brings families together, weddings and funerals. I know what it is about that. And Wade, the Libra SDR, I'm interested in hearing more about that. I just went out looking briefly, and I found some sort of AliExpress thing, and I think it's Hebrew, so maybe we'll have to, if someone knows that language, we'll have to get some translations going here. So apparently that's a market area of the world for them, I suppose. I did kind of break the code on my little antenna. I don't know if I told you or not. I have a 3-element J-pole that's worked okay, and I could, when I was using it for the Monday night check-in with the Seattle group, they could hear me just fine, but I could really not understand them. The signal came in very loud and clear, but it was so crumply and mushy I could hardly make out the words. And so I really am, the physics of this fascinates me. With a problem, what causes that is if I move the antenna itself up close to the eave of the house, which is a wooden eave. The only thing I can figure is it's getting in some sort of multiphasic problem or multipath problem off the side of the house in some kind of weird fashion, because it certainly doesn't attenuate the signal strength anyway. You just can't hear the FM signal. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. So that's really weird. So I've got it on a tripod on a piece of wood, standing right now, I don't know, maybe 3 feet away from the eave of the house, and it works just fine. So that's the odd things you discover with Fun with Physics. That's that's about it here for James. I'm James in Northeast Bellevue, WW7N. Let me turn it back to our net control. Dave, take it away.
7N, this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. Oh my, what a beautiful day it was this afternoon and into the evening. I got 70 degrees here. It's starting to cloud up a little bit. But this afternoon I went to Costco, and oh man, I got the Costco lasagna. I had that for dinner tonight, and I sat down to watch the newscast, and I guess 45 minutes later, I woke up in time to do the net. So, comfort food, I guess, and really settled down good. So that was kind of nice. And Ron with looking for wires. One time, I think I still have a device you hook up to wires and it transmits a frequency. Then you use a receiver and then you can go along the path of the wire and it'll show you where it's at in the ground, and so or in a wall. So that's another thing that you can use. But it sounds like you got your back pressure done, and so you're legal now. Use all the water you want to water your yard. You don't have to worry about it shutting down. The city will love you. And Bob, a chance to visit with his family. You know, it's always nice to have families to have gathered together and talk about old times and things that goes on in the family. That's pretty good. And Wade with that new device he's ordered, we'll have to see. Wade, we mentioned Pluto. I was thinking, boy, that's kind of out of this world, sort of the last planet out there in space. I hope that Pluto gives a signal in, so we'll have to see what happens there. That's about it. Let's see. I did go to the dentist last week. Got a cleaning and a checkup, and everything passed. As old as I am, it seems to be holding together, so we'll see. The next time I see him, he'll probably say, oh, we got to pull them all out or something, but I doubt that. Anyway, I do have a pretty healthy relationship with my dentist. I think I purchased him a wonderful sailboat somewhere during his career. But outside of that, everything seems to be healthy and on track. So with that, I'm going to send it back up to Ron, KD7QKU. What say you, Ron?
KD7QKU here. Well, what say me is, Dave, you had a lot of interference on your signal. I lost a lot of it. I couldn't hear it. You were talking about tracing the wire, and I didn't understand that at all. And James, yes, you don't have a very sharp, clear picture. You're not as sharp as the other people, or you usually are. And Wade, it's nice to hear that you're buying some equipment. It would also be, I guess, kind of nice to figure out what it's going to cost. So you might pass that along to us sometime. Let's see. And I had 80 degrees here today. I saw 80 degrees on my thermometer. I think it was warmer than they predicted. Right now it's 72. It was a beautiful day. Hot, but beautiful. So anyway, yeah, Bob, sorry about your, I guess maybe it was brother-in-law that passed away, ex-brother-in-law or something. Some ex anyway, but yeah, it's nice when families, you know, there is a separation or divorce in the family, that the two people, they don't alienate, or the rest of the family doesn't get alienated or something. That happened in my sister-in-law's family. There was a sister that married a guy, and then they got a divorce, and he was in the business with her brothers. They had the Blue Ribbon potato products in Eastern Washington, and they kept him in. They liked him. They didn't try to buy him out or anything. And he would come to all the family gatherings and everything. She'd be there with her new husband. She married the pharmacist in town who had drugstores, so they did quite well too. So that was kind of nice for everybody. Let's see. Well, yeah, about whether or not backflow valves fail. That's a really good question, and I wish I'd have thought of it. I certainly would have asked that guy. Jim, I'm like you. I don't think they need to be measured every year, but I don't think I'm going to measure mine every year. I think I'm going to measure it now and turn the paperwork in, and then I'm going to wait till they threaten me to shut my water off before I have it measured again, which might be 1 or 2 years or 5 years, who knows. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to throw the piece of paper in the waysaver basket next to it. It's not that it's so expensive. He charged me $55 to come and measure, but he wanted to put me on a schedule to measure it every year, but I was a little reluctant. I told him if I had it measured again, I'd call him, and I told him, and then we discussed what they might do if I don't have it measured, but we didn't discuss the failure rate. Yeah, and dentists, so they got a new lady dentist over where I go. Dr. Stewart had been there by himself, I believe, and I think maybe they need to, get some more work for her to keep her busy. So I'm wondering if I really do need a crown on my tooth. You can't tell. They tell you, your tooth could break, and we don't want it to do that. In order to protect it, we need to do this. And so I guess you have to believe him. I know he does have a home up on the hill that overlooks the water over here, so I think he does all right, the dentist. So anyway, back to that KD7QQ.
QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Okay, well, thanks, Dave. And if I didn't say it before, good evening, everybody. Good to see everyone here tonight. And let's see, I'll start with James. Yeah, your picture is definitely not up to par tonight. Do you normally use blur? I don't know if it's the blur effect, the blurred background effect, but something is making it not be so good. I think that's maybe better, James. Anyway, seeing the family is certainly a good thing, and it was, as I say, it was an amicable parting. There are a lot of people there that really cared about him, and he was the husband of my first cousin, so that's the relationship. And she just lives over in Shoreline, so we went out. She had the memorial. It was more of a life celebration than memorial at her house, and it was really very nice. Let's see. Ron, I heard noise on your signal as well. I don't know if I have noise on mine, but something's going on tonight. I don't think it's a problem with yours signal or Dave's signal, but I certainly heard some noise, pretty much the same kind of noise behind both. So I'm not sure what's happening here tonight, but oh man, I thought I had something else there too. I'm not taking notes tonight, and I think that's a problem. But I'll send it back, K9PQ.
PQ, thanks for that. Let's see if we can get Wade again. W7ATS in Tacoma.
Well, I'm going to just share a quick video. I'm not going to show that much because I'm not sure, for copyright reasons, if I can show it. I think it's just a video, so it should be fine. There's no music in it, so it's to kind of go over the LibreSDR. There's a tech channel out there called Tech Minds that produces a bunch of ham radio and SDR content, and that's where I got the idea to use the LibreSDR or Libra SDR, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It's also called a ZenQ-SDR, I think is the other. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but it goes by a couple different names. And it's not necessarily a Pluto SDR, direct chip by chip, but it's implemented in FPGA, so if anybody knows what that is, it allows a lot of the discrete logic to be emulated on logic or gate arrays. I'll just show the video real quick. I might just skip through a few sections because it's quite long. It's like 12 minutes long. So I'll just kind of show a picture of what it looks like. Here we go. Make sure everybody can see that. Here's the SDR itself. It has 4 elements. I think 1 TX element and 3 receive elements. I could be wrong. And it's, let me just kind of show the video. So just kind of show the different thing. It comes with some 2.4 gigahertz antennas. You can swap those out for whatever antenna you want. Here's the different kind of pictures of it, kind of showing. It's got a GPS reference clock port. Apparently you don't need that. This particular unit has a pretty stable frequency clock, so it should stay pretty consistent. If you go, here's the firmware. It's actually on GitHub, and you can change it out with different various firmwares. Let's see, testing. I think somebody else is showing that. This is, I think this is Pluto SDR, and I forget the actual application he's using there. It's probably SDR Sharp, showing him doing a QSO. I think he was doing it over a satellite. Got the different bands here. So this is using it as like an analog radio, but he tried to demonstrate towards the digital video, but there's some tuning things that you have to do, and he didn't. Apparently, I read the comments. There's a tuning process you have to put the radio through to get rid of some of the spikes that are in the signal. But that's that. So I'll turn that off. All right. Well, what else? As I said in the
just fine. The people on the digital side could not see it.
You can see it. I don't know if anybody else saw it.
Do you see my video now?
Repeater here. No, negative.
K9PQ, have I got it?
seeing it on the RF side of the repeater, so I'm not quite sure if maybe there's a problem with the zoom. Not zoom, but with maybe the YouTube signal. Maybe it's not getting into the repeater. But maybe on the next round we can get the video working on YouTube, and but I was just kind of showing off what it can do. But basically, it's pretty cool, and I'll show it maybe in the next round if I can get YouTube working. Thank you.
Do I have the repeater? Somebody please reply.
You got the repeater.
Yeah, I saw it just fine. You guys need to start monitoring on YouTube or over the air and quit just watching Jitsi only, because it was all there and it was a nice video. Back to Wade, I guess.
Yeah, maybe in the next round I'll just do a real quick kind of slideshow over Jitsi. But yeah, it was there. Thanks for confirming that, Bob. Internet control, this is W7ATS.
ITL, thanks for that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Well, Wade, yeah, I saw that. Well, I don't want to say just fine, but I saw it on the 1.2 gigahertz television repeater. I actually happened to see that video sometime about a week ago on YouTube. I don't know. I was looking for something. Maybe it was that airplane crash or something, and I happened to stumble across that. Yeah, I remember the fellow was doing some sort of satellite communications with that. I think he mentioned something about ATV, but I'm not real sure about that. But it sounds like that's something which is in development, and you may have to develop some software for that. But I think he mentioned several different potential sources of code for that. So, and it seems like you try this and try this, and he had some other information about someone else who was able to furnish him some information, some help. Yeah, I think that that may require a little bit of effort to get that going. Good luck with that, but it does look interesting. Let's see, Jim. New computer. Well, I don't know about the digital picture, but your picture looks good on 1.2 gigahertz. Okay, when I say it looks good, it looks as good as it gets at my location, which is not to say good, but good enough. Anyway, it looks like it always has on 1.2 gigahertz. Don't know what to say about the digital side. Dave, lasagna from Costco. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I stopped buying that because I can't eat it fast enough. Since my wife got diagnosed with celiac, she's not supposed to eat anything like that. And if it's in the house, she will be tempted. So rather than risk getting my wife sick, I just don't buy the stuff. But yeah, it's yummy, and it washes down very well if you have a Guinness as a chaser. But it does entice one to nap afterward. So I'm glad that you woke up in time for the net. Oh my goodness, I might be tempted to go to Costco and get another batch of that. And dentist, yeah, good checkup. Yeah, Dave, I think I paid for not my current dentist, but my previous dentist. I think I probably paid for his daughter's college education. It's incredible how expensive that can be. Oh well. Ron, you mentioned 80 degrees today. I missed the high today. I was gone all day today. I've got 74 degrees here at the house now. I was running errands with my wife most all of the day. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be home more. But it was a pleasant day. Definitely did not need any sort of jacket outside. So thanks for mentioning that down in Pierce County. KD7ZYM and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, let's go to James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, I'm getting some interference tonight. It sounds like someone's running their motorboat in the background when people talk. I don't know if it's coming in with me when I transmit or not as well. Yeah, that lasagna, it does have a sedative effect, but I do offer a lasagna pickup service, Jim. If you want to buy the lasagna, just have like a little taste of it, then I'd come over to your house and pick it up and dispose of it, the rest of it for you, so nobody in your house would be tempted to eat it. I offer that for all kinds of other stuff, too. Well, yeah, dentistry in the United States is expensive. I have a friend who went to Mexico and got some major big-time dental work done, and it seemed to work out extremely well for him. And so there is one city on the border with Arizona called Molar City that has some incredible number of dentists in it, and you actually park your car on the American side and walk across, and the car from that office picks you up and takes you to the dentist of your choice, or that you've lined up in advance. I've never tried it myself. He actually went to one down on the Baja Peninsula and made a vacation out of it. So I think there will probably be some kind of balancing of cost and I don't know what else. Something's going to happen there because he got really superb service for really, considering it was in a 5-star hotel and it was a big giant vacation along with it. That was kind of like just for free. It still came out to be actually less than if he had just gone to, you know, downtown and gotten the dental work done there. I'm just mesmerized by what's coming through on the digital side right now. It looks like you've got really a fantastic toy there with the Libra SDR. I look forward to learning more about it, and if it has the bandwidth to handle digital video signals, I wonder if it has the bandwidth to handle analog video signals, and is there anyone who's written software to decode that yet? I'm interested in that. So anyway, with that, this is James, WW7N, interested in a signal report on the 2-meter signal that's coming out of my house tonight. I'm going to turn it back to Dave, KD7ZYM, our net control. Go ahead, Dave.
7N, thanks for that. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM. And audio coming out very good on 2 meters. But James, your picture is a little bit soft. I don't know if it's a camera that you got on this computer or not, but it's just a little bit of a soft image. Just like it's not focusing quite well. But sometimes it comes in very sharp, but most of the time it's just a little bit on the soft side. It doesn't seem to, the autofocus doesn't want to autofocus you. But the background seems to be pretty good, so for some reason the closeness looks a little bit on the sour side, but outside of that, we still see you, and it's a livable picture for ATV. And anyway, not to be distressed totally over it. You are getting an image out, and that's about it. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. And I guess we've all supported our dentist hobbies in the past, so that's very interesting. What a profession to be in. But I'm going to move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Well, we have really good dental insurance, so most generally I don't have to pay much. I asked them if I was going to have to pay much on this crown, and the lady in the office said, I don't think so. We actually have double dental insurance, I think, somehow. I think we used to have Washington Dental, and now I think we have Aetna insurance, and I think there's a dental plan that comes with it. So we have really good dental insurance. I suppose people who don't would like to go to Mexico, but you'd have to travel down there, so you'd have to include that in the cost, I'm sure. And Wade, yeah, no, I enjoyed the little video. It looks like a well-made device. Oh my, you might need I can't say the name of the electronic device. You know, Lee had a couple of them to tune the darn thing up with. Maybe the club has one. What's the name of the device, you guys, that they're always using?
Analyzer.
Nano DNA.
Spectrum analyzer.
Yeah, but it's okay. Maybe they have one at the club if Wade needs to use it. But a lot of times I know the guy from Colorado talks about using it. Geez, I can't say it. Lee inherited one from, what was the other hand that passed away, a portable, and then Lee had one, I know. And I think maybe Bird has one. Anyway, so enough of that. Back to net KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ. Long-lived bottle.
Well, yeah, I remembered a couple of things I wanted to mention. One is the dentist. Yeah, I think my dad had like one cavity his entire life, at least with his adult teeth, and my mom had terrible problems, and I definitely inherited my mom's teeth. I think I've put several children through college by this point among various dentists. But the other thing I wanted to mention was just that, yeah, so Wade and I have been talking about this a bit, and I just wanted to thank Wade for taking the lead on this a little bit and kind of getting the ball rolling. We are going to, I'll be working with Wade, and we're going to get in touch with Rob, and we're going to, see about, getting this digital at least to the point where we can test it through the repeater and see how well it works. And I'll set up a mobile setup so we can kind of get an idea of where it comes in well and where it doesn't. I mean, I know it doesn't for my house, so I'll have to be mobile. So I might as well go around mobile a few different places and test it out. So also I'd like to know if this same noise is coming in on my signal. It does seem to be just certain signals, or maybe it's just, the timing. I don't know. I think Jim had a bit, but not James. Ron did sometimes, but not other times. I think Dave did sometimes, but not other times. So maybe it's just timing. But it is kind of a. It doesn't sound like your normal interference. It sounds like kind of noise getting in somehow. So I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, back to net K9PQ.
Let's go to Wade, W7ITL.
See about sharing the screen. Let's see if it will let me do it. Let's see. Entire screen. Let's see. Let's do this one. All right. You should see something here on the screen now. I'm going to try to play the video again. Let's see. Let's see if it will. Yeah, it looks like it's coming through okay. It's not centered very well, but there we go. Got a little bit of that. And yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing this because it's let's see, let's do this now. Let's see, all right, looks like it's coming through now with just my picture. It's getting a little dark here, but yeah. Me and Bob, and then anybody else that would like to participate in the testing, as once we get all the equipment, we'll go ahead and start that. Yeah, the first purchase, if you can still make sure everybody can see me. Yeah, once I get that, I'll start testing it here in my house, and then once we get a good signal report and everything's working, we'll move to field ops and see about putting a receiver or a transmitter up at. Actually, I think we'll do a receiver first, and then see about how well we can receive the signal from various places in the region. So with that, I'll turn it back to net control. This is W7ITL.
7ITL. Thanks for that. As Ron had said, if you'd share the price of the devices that you've run into, the SDR and the amplifier price. W7ITL, thanks for that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Jim, Molar City. I never heard of that, but I do have friends who have gone down into Mexico to visit dentists, and they were generally pleased with the dentists. I seem to remember they said that the dentists whom they visited actually were trained in American colleges, so they didn't have much trouble there either. But I guess it's probably better if you have decent dental insurance to just go close to home. Unless you happen to live close to the border, that puts everything in a different light. Let's see. Bob, you were talking about strange noises. Yeah, I'm hearing that as well during most, if not all, of everyone's transmissions. It's not too bad, but it's definitely noticeable. I have heard just a tiny bit of motorboating. Someone commented about motorboating, but it's something a little bit different than that most of the time from where I am. Don't know what to make of it. It's just there. It's not affecting, not adversely affecting transmission too much, but it's definitely noticeable. And Wade, the last transmission that you had there, when you switched from the device to your face, it was really pretty dark. Although now I see it looks plenty light now, so I don't know what happened there. It's almost like the lights were off temporarily at your QTH or something. But your picture looks fine now, along with the others. Although I only see Bob in sort of a generic picture rather than in reality. Just thought I'd mention that. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
QO, let's go to James, WW7N.
This is James, WW7N, Northeast Bellevue. I did hear the motorboat in the background on the top of Jim's signal, but then it stopped. So it doesn't seem to matter whose signal it is. It seems to kind of come and go, whatever the motorboat is. I found something kind of humorous. You'll get a laugh out of this. I looked really close at that particular camera, that one right there, and I was able to peel off a little piece of plastic on the top of the lens. And I figured, okay, that's obviously why it gets so soft. But then I noticed the little piece of plastic had a hole in the center of it. So I don't know if that made a difference or not. Yeah, it is kind of interesting. Why would you bother to put a piece of plastic covering that part for, you know, transport and so on, and then not have a big sign on it saying, pull this off, please, you know, when it arrives where it's at. And then why would you put a hole in the center of it? That sounds very much like a committee decision somebody made there. We're going to keep it, but we're going to put a big hole over the part that matters the most. I cannot explain that one. Anyway, I'll have to work on this more because I do believe it's a shock to me, but the computer with the lightning fast CPU and the SSD, that is the silicon hard drive, seems to work better than the 15-year-old laptop. I just don't understand that, why that would be. But it does seem to work better with video. I think video is what's going to push everybody off the old machines, because I still use a Windows 7 machine, but I would laugh if you even suggested to try to do anything related to video on that machine. It looks like the Studio XPS here, I finally did get it to boot only 50 minutes into the net. It probably needs to have all of its brains taken off of its drive and have the operating system reloaded. I'll have to do some research on what the most efficient way to do that is. Well, anyway, I see we got about 6 minutes left. Let's see if we can go around one more time. I don't have any too exciting plans, except I am taking someone down to the Victoria Clipper port tomorrow, driving and dropping them off, and that's kind of interesting. I've never been down there to Pier 69 to see what it's like. I've always kind of wondered, the boat itself moves very fast through the water. It's high speed. So how do they avoid hitting logs and stuff like that? I wonder if anyone knows the answer to that question. This is James, WW7N.
7N, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, many years ago, I'd say about 25, maybe almost 30 years ago, when they first started that hydrofoil, they did hit a log going up to Vancouver, BC, and had quite a few injuries aboard the boat. Anyway, we covered that as a news story way back then. But so far, I guess they've just been lucky with that moving along with the hydrofoil. And for the noise that's going on, it sounds like it's an artifact on Echolink that's coming through. So I don't know. We've had some problems with Echolink in the past with some noisy connections coming down. So it's a possibility that's an Echolink interference of noise that's going through the repeater. Just a thought anyway. But anyway, it sounds like everything looks good, and that SDR looked like a well-built piece of machinery anyway. Let's hope it's not all that too expensive, and we can find the right software for it, and then also get an amplifier for it. So that will be interesting to see what happens. So let's move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Hey, KD7QKU here. I hear some feedback through somebody's computer. But anyway, yeah, the pictures were good, Wade. I could really see them this time, and it looks like a nice piece of equipment, and thank you very much for doing all that. Let's see. So when you get around to testing it, I suppose I could get a receiver or something, and we could test between you and I to begin with, if that would help out. So I just have to keep me in mind and tell me what I need. So anyway, what time is it? It must be near the end of the net, so I'm just going to turn back to net and say it's always fun to see everybody and listen to you. And we'll talk to you later over on just KD7QKU.
QRM on your last transmission. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, I don't have a whole lot to add, so I'll just say 73 to everybody, and good net tonight. A lot of interesting info, and looking forward to making some digital progress with Wade in the future. Back to net, K9PQ.
And let's go to Wade, W7ATS in Tacoma.
All right, well, I will say 73. I don't have anything more to add. It's going to be cool, interesting to work on this project, and looking forward to it. And I'll say 73 again. All right, Whiskey 7, India Tango, Lima, back to net.
ITL, let's go to Jim, M7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, it just occurred to me, I watched the weather weather guessers not too long before the net here, and they're predicting some rain this coming weekend, specifically starting Saturday night and going into Sunday. That reminds me I need to do some more yard work. I've got something going on tomorrow morning, but mostly I'll be around the house. So maybe Friday and or Saturday, I guess I'll be doing some yard work and maybe just check the rain gutters in anticipation of a little bit of precip. Don't know if anyone needs to cut the grass or anything, but watch out for the weather this coming weekend, because some people do it on weekends. Well, that's a good excuse not to do it. Anyway, looks like we're about out of time here. Thanks everyone for participating. Good night all, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. And it's time to sign off the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. Machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a specific tone of 103.5 for this net. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.